Well, hello and welcome to my review on the 6-foot tall holiday beaver inflatable from Buc-ee's. This is an officially licensed product that came directly from one of their stores and has a retail of $59.98. Now, if you are not familiar with what Buc-ee's is, it is arguably the most extravagant gas station chain in the country. A quick Google search will tell you the many things they pride themselves on and does a decent job to explain some of the popularity surrounding it, though you really have to go to one to understand why. After visiting my first Buc-ee's this past November and bearing witness to such things like the cafe in the middle of the store, more aisles and fridges than I could count, and the no shortage of apparel and other unique merchandise, I finally understood the rave. Today, we are going to be taking a look at one of the things that made me realize this store is in a league of its own, and that is, of course, this Buc-ee Beaver inflatable. I did a little research on Buc-ee's history of producing inflatables and discovered that this one is not the only one they've made, and also how sought after each of them are. I traced this particular beaver back to a 2022 initial release and found that they also have a Halloween and party theme variant. What came as a bit of a shock was how much they all appreciate and value, as they consistently go for almost double their retail online. Now, to get back to the box, I will say it's very eye-catching with the vivid contrast of colors, the oversized text, and also its glossy finish. At the back, just like any other inflatable I review on the channel, we have a real-life comparison, though nothing about a manufacturer except for Buc-ee's Ltd, and that it's made in China. This is certainly not the typical blow-up decoration you usually find me reviewing, as it's not Jimmy, colossal, nor animated, but I sure think is going to be worth a look, so let's get it unpackaged and see what this beaver's all about. Now, we knew going into this was going to be equipped with a low voltage fan, just based off the size of the box and also the images we had taken a look at. However, it is not one that Jimmy uses on their inflatables, and it's the first time I've seen this particular motor. It's nothing special, and I found that out right away as I was examining this prior to bringing the inflatable outside. It's 12 volts DC and is 0.85 amps. You can also see the manufacturer labeled clear as day on the fan itself, so don't expect the quality to be too great. But moving on to part of the stake pack, I do find it interesting in that the tether clips, which for every inflatable I've reviewed up to this, have already been secured to the ropes themselves. In this situation are not, meaning you will have to tie those on, just an extra burden to be aware of. This then brings me to the stakes, which appear to be quite rounded at the top, not to mention they are a bit flimsy, and you will have to wrap the tether around them rather than feeding it through a hole, as I am normally accustomed to with Jimmy's products. Simply not the case here. Well, the quality seems to be a bit lacking up to this point, although we still have a whole inflatable left to check out, so let's plug it in and do just that. Taking roughly a minute and 15 seconds to inflate, I certainly wouldn't deem that as optimal, considering most small cheap fans I review average around 30 to 45 seconds. However, the time isn't what I care most about, as that would instead be how well this inflates. Surprisingly, despite the fact we're relying on such a small blower, I am happy to report that even though there are areas that are a bit weak just due to their narrow air passage inside, there are others like the main body and the head which feel nice and full. I should also point out that there is even a part of the inflatable that doesn't receive air at all, as it is not intended to, and that would be the tail. It is nearly 3 feet long and looks good when laid out to the side, though could be worth penetrating a stake through, just so it doesn't blow around in the wind. As we transition into more of these visual elements, I will admit before going any further, I'm a little unhappy with this interpretation of the Buc-ee Beaver. I suppose my opinion would apply to all inflatable forms of him that have released thus far, as I've yet to see a version that truly resembles the one featured in their logo. Now, I am completely aware most Buc-ee fanatics probably don't care about accuracy as much as an inflatable collector like myself would, but this is of course a review and it is my job to point out all characteristics I encounter, whether they are good or bad, obvious or minute. Speaking of minute details, I do want to point out that there are 4 ground tether attachments rather than what I expected, which was going to be 2. Very few cheap fan inflatables I see have more than 2 places to stake them at their base, but always good to have additional areas. The other loops present on this inflatable would be the 2 I have chosen not to attach a tether to, because not only are they somewhat unnecessary due to its stability at the bottom, but I also plan on having this outside for the duration of this review, after which it is going right back in the box. I do want to harken back to what I was saying regarding how this looks, and while I made clear it is not a great representation of the beaver in the logo, or the statue that can be found outside of the stores, it definitely fits the bill for those who want a Buc-ee themed inflatable, but that's about the only audience this would appeal to. If you are one who wants to let everyone know of your fondness for this gas station chain and are going to display this beaver outside your home, then I should inform you that there are 3 LEDs at the back which might not be bright enough if you want to draw attention, so I would recommend some kind of spotlight to go with our friend here. For another need to know, there is 1 zipper present on this inflatable, which is located albeit in an awkward location, causing one to reach under and open it that way, and we probably shouldn't talk about how it appears if or when you lean it back. And on that amazing note, I believe this will conclude my review on the Holiday Beaver inflatable from Buc-ee's. Like I said earlier, not the usual inflatable product you find me assessing, but I wanted to do something different and start the year fresh. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Also things like, have you been to a Buc-ee's? What did you think if you have? All that stuff I want to know. Anyways guys, until next time, I'll see you later. Peace out. Bye.